Hello students, in the last lecture we did solenoid. Now what was solenoid? The solenoid was formed when we wind large number of turns of a wire on a non-conducting base and we give it a shape of a helical spring like. Shape was given, and when we passed a current through it, we found that for a very long solenoid the magnetic field intensity inside was uniform and outside we assumed it to be zero. Now suppose that this solenoid is bent into a circular shape. So we have a two ends of solenoid, we bend it into a circular form and its both the ends are closed on itself. Then such an arrangement be called as a toroid. So again, the toroid is a device which is used to generate a magnetic field. Now, how to make this arrangement? In a solenoid, we wound large number of turns on a non-conducting base. Here also, we will take a base which should be in the form of a hollow circular ring. It is similar to inflated rubber tube. So it should be in the shape of, suppose we take an example, non-conducting base, that is inflated tire tube. Now if we take a tire tube and we wound a circular turns on it, it gives an arrangement like this. So toroid is, first thing is, again we write that what we have written for solenoid, it is device used to generate magnetic field. Then how the toroid should be formed? So you need a hollow circular ring type structure. So we take an example of inflated tire tube. So you have seen a tire tube in which air should be filled, and on that we wind a wire. So toroid is a circular hollow ring on which large number of turns of wire are wound. So again it is an arrangement where we wound large number of the turns of wire are wound. The wire should be wound close to each other, so are closely wound. So this is how we make an arrangement which is called as a toroid, and it can be viewed as solenoid bent into circle or circular form where both ends are joined to each other. So instead of, if you want to view a toroid, these two ends of the solenoid is bent and joined on itself, then also the structure will be a toroid. Now here the magnetic field lines were straight. Now you can easily view, if I give this solenoid a circular shape, the magnetic field lines would be circular. So the dotted line shown here is the magnetic field lines which is uniform inside it. Now again we have to find out the magnetic field intensity of the toroid. Now here also we have a three different position. This is inside the toroid. So this is an empty region because it is a hollow circular ring. So this is an empty region. Clearly there is no current. We have to apply the Ampere's law. There is no current. So the magnetic field intensity inside the toroid, this portion is called as inside the toroid. Then it will be on the surface of toroid or on the toroid, and one point will be taken outside. So this is an arrangement. So for illustrative purpose, this is the toroid look like this. Here, if this turns of wire are perfectly circular, then we call it a ideal toroid. And if it is in a helic form, generally while making a toroid, the turns are helic, not perfect circular. So that is toroid, but we are talking about an ideal toroid. So if it is asked what is an ideal toroid, so there the number of turns should be perfectly circular. So this is how the toroid looks. So we have to take one base and we have to wound a turn on it. These are the two ends for the current. So in the diagram, this is how the situation is. This is how the toroid look. Now we will send a current from this end. Now if I send a current from this end, it will come out from downward. So this is a ring, this is one ring. Current will go inside, it will come out from this end. Now for derivation, the picture should be very clear because we have to take a different point. So suppose this is one ring. If I take this as one ring, we assume that current will come out from this lower end and it will go into the plane of the board. So this is one ring of a toroid. This is one ring. So here the current is coming out from the lower end and it will be going in. Clearly, this is, you see this current is going in, it is coming out, again going in, coming out, like this current flow in this turns. And we know that if there are circular rings kept concentric to each other, they will produce a magnetic field. So here the direction of the magnetic field is shown by dotted line. We will see how to find out the magnitude as well as the direction of this magnetic field intensity in the toroid. So let us see the situation. Now you have to take the 3 points. One point should be inside, other point should be inside the toroid. So this portion is a hollow region. This will be called inside toroid. That is on the toroid or on the surface of a toroid, but it should be inside the toroid. And third will be outside the toroid. And we will use the Ampere circuital law. So clearly we will see that the current is going inward for all this portion of the loop and it will be coming out. So current will flow like this. So here it is coming out, then going in, coming out, going in. Or you can make a toroid like this to see or to understand the direction. So here if I take that the current is going from inward from this, it will come out, then it will go in. Then in the second circular ring it will come out, it will go in. Now if I see the pattern of the current direction, if it goes in from this side, it will be clockwise. For my case, if current goes in, here the current will be circular, ring is circular, but the direction of the current is clockwise. Now we know that if the current is clockwise, this phase will act as a south pole. So this phase will act as a south pole, and when it comes out, this force will act as a north pole. So if these two ends are kept very close to each other, actually these two ends are kept very close to each other. So one phase becomes south pole, other becomes north pole. So in our case, if I hold this wire like this end is a south pole, this is the north pole. Now the magnetic field lines will emerge from this north pole. It will go to south and inside the field will be from south to north. So again it is like a circular bar magnet. It is like a circular bar magnet where these two ends are kept very close to each other. Here we have shown a very large difference, but these two ends are close to each other like this. So the geometry should be clear for a toroid. Just remember that when this current is going in, this end current is going in, and from this out the current will come out from this end, because we will be drawing the next diagram to understand the situation. So we know that a current or anything going into the plane of board or paper is denoted by the cross. So what will be the situation? Here the direction of current will be denoted by cross. This will be all cross. Now we will keep a wire like this. We assume a wire in which the current is going inward. See, the diagram will, we will change the diagram, and from this end, which is denoted by dot, the current will be coming out. So this will be the situation. The current will be coming out, which will be denoted by the closed end. Sorry, which will be shown by dot. See, this is with the situation. So it is like the two wires. From one wire, the current is coming out. So current is coming out, and then see, current will go like this inward. So current coming out, going in. So when we start a current, it is going in, then it comes out, then like this. Coming out, going in. Coming out, going in. Similarly, coming out, going in. So you can also assume this as a two wire in which the current is coming out in this from this end, and for this end the current is going in. Actually the loop is circular, but to understand, let us assume that current is coming out. Because it is a circular, you know, to understand the magnetic field intensity due to a circular ring, we divide this wire into different elements. So at a time we can consider the wire to be divided into DL elements. There are number of current elements. We take two diametrically. So we in order to understand the direction, divide this circular loop into four different parts. For this part, current is going up. For this part, current is going to this side. For this part, current going downward, and to for this, it is going to this side. In all the cases, if I apply the thumb rule, magnetic field will come outward if the ring is kept like this. We have kept the loop in YZ plane in our theory, and therefore the magnetic field along the axis was x-axis. So this is one ring. Now the number of rings are given a shape of circle. Here the number of rings were placed close to each other or parallel to each other, and here all are the ring. This is one ring. So how the toroid will be formed? One ring, second ring, below that third ring, fourth ring, like this. So there will be a circular rings. Now I assume that from this end the current is coming out. So this is the case. Current is suppose coming out from this side, going in. So you are seeing this portion. Current coming out from this, going inward. From this ring it will goes to the neighboring ring, again come out, go in, again come out from the neighboring ring, again it goes in. Like this is the geometry, and now we will try to find out. Now we will not be drawing the entire toroid, we will show the dot and the cross, and we understand that this is dot will indicate current coming out, going in. So remember this are, then there is another ring near to it, then another ring, then all these rings are forming a circular shape, and therefore we will get the magnetic field inside a circular, and we will find out its direction as well as intensity. Now let us represent the toroid where the current is going in and current is coming out. So we have a circular turns. So like this, current is coming out, going in, coming out, going in, then coming out, going in from the neighboring loop. So this is a toroid where cross indicate the current going into and the dot is showing you the current coming out. So this was, you consider this as one ring. You keep like this. Now here the current is going in and it is coming out. So it will not complete a loop because then it will go into the another loop, another turn, it will go in and another again it will come out. So this will be the situation going in and coming out to determine the direction of the magnetic field intensity. Now we have to apply the Ampere circuital law to find out the magnetic field intensity. So we consider 3 points. First point is considered to be in the open space inside the toroid. So this will be inside the toroid, but this space is open because the turns were wound on a hollow circular ring or inflated tire tube. This point is called as inside the toroid and this point will be referred as outside the toroid. Now if I have to find out the intensity at any point, say this is one point. So I will draw an Amperian loop. So this is my Amperian loop. Let us name this as loop 1 and its radius is R1. Another point, say this point. This is your loop number 2. So this is loop 2. Let the radius is R2 or let us assume this as R. And then we have a third point outside the toroid, say this point. Now this is the loop number 3. See, this is loop 1, this is loop 2 and this is loop 3. Let the radius of the loop will be R3. Let the radius of this loop is R3. So these are the 3 loops. So you have to find out the magnetic field intensity inside the open space of a toroid. Inside the toroid, this is our toroid region and this point is outside. So these are the 3 points. So we have loop 1 inside open space of toroid. Loop 2 we call it inside toroid, and loop 3 outside toroid. Now you have to apply the Ampere circuital law. So let us find out the magnetic field intensity. Magnetic field intensity inside open space of toroid, that is R1 is less than R. Now according to Ampere circuital law, this is B dot dl is equal to mu naught times, remember this is a term, the current is enclosed inside the Amperian loop. Now when we take a loop inside, so we have a loop here inside it. If we take a loop inside it, there is no current flowing inside this loop. So no I is 0. So here IE itself is 0. So clearly the magnetic field intensity inside the open space of the toroid is 0 because there is no current enclosed. So this is the case. Now if I have to use equation, this complete equation, I divide this into a different elements. This was the way we divide the element into dl. There is no magnetic field because you will get zero current. However, the angle between B and dl, if we assume it is 0, though there will be no magnetic field, but suppose we take dl cos 0, dl cos 0, so it will be written as closed integration of dl is equal to mu naught IE. Now IE itself is 0, so this term reduced to 0, which indicate that B1 is equal to 0. So directly we write here IE is 0, so the magnetic field inside the open space of the toroid is 0. Now let us find out the magnetic field intensity outside, that is loop 3. Clearly there will be the magnetic field intensity inside the toroid. So let us find out outside the toroid. So magnetic field intensity at point outside toroid, that is R3 is greater than R. So this is outside point. Now generally, so let me write Ampere circuital law first. So this is B dot dl equal to mu naught IE. Now when we see the geometry, it seems that the current is flowing in the loop. The current all these currents are inside the Amperian loop. Here it is coming out, going in, coming out, going in, then coming out from this loop, going in, then it comes to this, come out, like this. So we assume that there is a current in the inside the Amperian loop. Now if you think over it, see the geometry and think over it. If possible, you pause the video and think what should be the current. Either we should take an entire current which we have passed through the toroid, we have passed I current. But when you try to closely see the diagram, what will happen, that if you remember the Ampere circuital law, suppose in this Amperian loop, this is an Amperian loop, I take two current, one is going in and one is coming out. Let me consider that a current is coming out from this wire, and from this the current is going into it. Now this is an Amperian loop. Both the wires are enclosed in the Amperian loop. Now if you remember, when we take, and this is an Amperian loop, this is an Amperian loop. Now if I take an Amperian loop, first I divide into a small element. This element is dl, this element is dl. Now I don't know whether the direction of the magnetic field is clockwise or anti-clockwise, because we have a two current. So we applied the convention, or we have learned the convention for the current. If there is a single wire and the current is coming out, then clearly the magnetic field is like this, right hand thumb rule, that is anti-clockwise. So there is no issue about this. So if the magnetic field is anti-clockwise, I will take dl also anti-clockwise, because the condition for Amperian loop, if you remember, that B should be either tangential to the line element, or it should be normal, or B should vanish. Then only the Amperian loop becomes easier. So if there is a single wire, there is no issue. dl and B are in the same direction. And for the convention of current, what was the rule? That you curl your fingers in the direction of the line elements. So if I curl my fingers like this, thumb points outward. outward. So all the current coming outward should be taken as positive. Now I have here two wires inside the Amperian loop. So again there are two wires. Suppose this is one wire in which the current is coming out, and in this the current is going in. Now I have taken both the wire in an Amperian loop. This is an Amperian loop. Now what I will do? I will curl my finger in the direction of the line element. So if I curl my fingers, thumb is outward. So this current, suppose this is I1, this is I2. So IE will be written as I1 minus I2. And if both the current are identical, what should be the total current? 0. So the magnetic field should be 0. So the magnetic field should be 0. So these are the two wires taken in the Amperian loop. Or by common sense also you can see that the current is coming out, current is going in. Suppose the question is, find out the magnetic field intensity at this point. At this point. So first I apply for this thumb rule, current in this direction. I stop at this point, magnetic field is tangentially upward. So magnetic field is tangent. Then I take this wire, then I take this wire. Current is going in. I apply the thumb rule, curl my finger. This is the direction of magnetic. Now this point which is lying here, I stop at this point, it will be tangentially downward. So what is the direction of the magnetic field intensity at this point? Due to this it was tangentially upward, due to this it was tangentially downward. So the resultant magnetic field should be 0. So either you take IE equal to 0, or if the point is outside the two wires and the current are flowing in opposite direction and the magnitude of the current is also same. Otherwise, you take I1 minus I2. Now let us come to this situation. Here also the situation is same. Instead of this turn, let us assume, you know that a current is going in. So you take this current going inward. And here you take the current is coming out. Now where is my point? This is the point. So where is the point? Point is here. See, the point is here. Now how the rule should be applied? Here the current is going in, here the current is coming outward. My point is here. This is my Amperian loop. This is my Amperian. So magnetic field due to this portion. Point is here, suppose. So it is in this side, tangent. For this, again stop at this point. It will come along negative x-axis. It will goes to positive x. Resultant should be 0 because the current is identical. So when we take an Amperian loop here, the amount of current going inward is equal to the amount of current coming out. And suppose I take this DL, this is my DL, and if I curl my finger like this in the DL direction, anti-clock, thumb is outward. So all the current outward is positive. So all the current coming out this is positive. But at the same time, the current is also going inward. The current is going inward. So all the current going in. So if I have only one loop, this is I1, this is I2, and I1 is equal to I2. So the resultant current enclosed is 0. So though it seems that there is a current in a toroid, and if you are outside, but you have to remember whatever amount of current will come out to this point, the same amount will bend inward, वापस चला जाएगा current अंदर, तो total current क्या हो जाएगा? 0 हो जाएगा. So in the loop 3 also IE, so in loop in loop 3, IE is equal to, actually it should be coming out going in. So I1 minus I2, but here I1 is equal to I2. Then the resultant current is 0. And if the resultant current is 0 or the current enclosed in the Amperian loop is 0, then the magnetic field intensity is also 0. Or simply you take a point. Simply you take a point. If it is, if you find difficulty in understanding the direction of the current, simply take these two wires. In one wire, take current inward. This wire take outward. Now suppose the question is, find out the magnetic field intensity at this point. You apply individually the right hand thumb rule. So if this current is going inward, so I curl my finger which gives the direction of the magnetic field intensity. You pass through that point. This wire will also come in that magnetic field. So you pass this. Suppose the point is here. So it will be tangentially upward, magnetic field. Now the current is coming out. Current is coming out. I take the magnetic field line like this. Point is here, tangentially downward. Then again, both the magnetic field are in opposite direction. So the resultant field comes out to be 0. We assume that the coils are closely wound and at the same time this is extremely thin ring. You will neglect the thickness of the ring. Otherwise, there will be a magnetic field intensity outside the toroid, but its intensity will be very less. So again in loop 3, B is, or you can say B3 is 0. So this Amperian loop will cut the wire two times, one coming out and one going in. Now let us find out the magnetic field intensity at a point inside toroid, that is loop number 2. So we take R2 is equal to R here. Now clearly there is a magnetic field intensity, it should be clear. Now what should be the situation? Where is this point? This point is inside the toroid. This point is inside the toroid. So this point is lying somewhere on the axis of this circular rings. On the axis of this circular ring. So let us assume there is a point inside it. That is the center, as we have taken in the solenoid, or along the axis of the ring. So there is consider only one ring and consider there is a point along its axis. So let me consider this ring. What will happen? Current will come out. Current will come out. And here from this portion the current will go in. Current will come out and current will go inside. So if I consider this law. Now when I consider Amperian loop, now again you consider two wires. This is coming out and from this it is going inward. Amperian loop is here. So what is the current enclosed? Only this current is going inward. This current is, which is coming outward, is outside the loop. This is outside the loop. So what we have considered a point? We consider a point here. We consider a point here. This is one ring, then another, next ring. Like this the toroid is formed. Point is here. Now what happened? Current coming out, going in. But my Amperian loop is of this much radius. Outside it was like this. The entire ring was inside the Amperian for loop number 3. But for loop number 2, this. So what is there? Only one current is going in. It cut once only at the loop number 2. So you have only one current. That is cross point. Now again I have to take dl. So I take this dl point, this is my dl. Now I will write this as, now if I rotate like this, I curl my finger in the direction of dl. So current going inward should be taken as positive. Current going inward should be taken as positive. But what was the direction of our magnetic field? Direction of the magnetic field was clockwise. Direction of the magnetic field intensity was clockwise. So here again, according to terminology, this will be 0, cos theta, that is theta should be 0. B will be tangential to this loop. So what is the direction of the magnetic field intensity inside the toroid? It is at any point, it is along the tangent. At any point inside, it is along the tangent. Now if we understand the direction of the magnetic field, then you take dl in that same direction so that theta reduces to 0. Otherwise, if you take opposite, there will be cos 180, that is minus 1. Then by convention, the current will also come out to be negative, so that minus minus get cancelled. So if this is if magnetic field is in this direction and I bend it like this, this is how the magnetic field is formed. Or now we have only this current inside the loop. This current is outside. This current is going inward. So I rotate my hand, I curl my finger like this. So what will be the direction of magnetic field? That is circular. Direction of the magnetic field lines. But at any point, it should be along the tangent. It should be along the tangent. So current is going inward. B is clockwise. So I have taken dl clockwise. I curl my finger clockwise. My thumb is inward. So thumb, the direction of the current in the sense of the thumb will give its direction of whether it give its sign. So my thumb is inward, current is also inward. So that current which is in the direction of the thumb should be taken as positive. So angle is 0. So I write B dl is equal to mu naught, and in the place of IE, now I write IE is equal to I. Now we assume the radius of the toroid from center to this center point. So we are neglecting the thickness of the ring on which it is wound. So we have wound it on an inflated tire tube, but the radius of inflated tire tube is very large. So you have to take a thin circular non-conducting base and you wind a wire on it, and large number of turns should be wound. So we neglect the thickness. However, you have to remember that if in a numerical they give you the inner radius and the outer radius, but in the theory we are taking only this distance from the center of this ring to the center of this entire system. So this is we assume in this the thickness is negligible. But if there is a thickness and they give you the inner and outer radius, but in theory we are taking this R. So simply you write R is equal to R1 plus R2 divided by 2 in the numerical. If inner and outer radius is given to you, here we assume the toroid is ideal, that is perfect circular. All the turns are perfectly circular and they are closely wound, and the thickness of a circular ring on which it is wound is very less. So this is the situation. Now B integration dl is equal to mu naught I. So B into circumference, that is 2 pi r mu naught I. Therefore B is equal to mu naught I upon 2 pi r. Now what is this? This is the circumference of a circle. So if I refer it, now there are n turns. How many turns are there? There are n turns, sorry. So I should write n here also. There are n number of turns. Each turn have a current I. So there should be a n. So this is n. Now this can be read as number of turns per unit length. So number of turns per unit length is denoted by mu naught I into n. So the formula remains same as that of toroid, that is mu naught Ni. The difference is in the solenoid we have a length, in the toroid we have its circumference. So the small n formula becomes n upon circumference. In the solenoid we have n upon the length of the solenoid. So this is the magnetic field intensity inside the toroid. Now let us see example 4.9. Again it is an MCQ, a very easy numerical direct application of a solenoid. Now it is given that the length of the solenoid is 0.5 meter and you see the radius is 1 centimeter. So while considering a very long solenoid, we assume its radius is very less. The number of turns is 500 and I is 5 ampere. So we have seen an idle solenoid. In idle solenoid its radius is very small as compared to its length. Simply you have to find out the magnetic field intensity inside the solenoid. We know the formula is this. So for solenoid the magnetic field intensity is mu naught Ni. In the place of n, small n, we have number of turns per unit length. So here we will put it as n upon L. We are not using a radius, but the radius is given because it is very long solenoid. You see the difference between the length and the radius. So this derivation holds good for idle solenoid and idle toroid. If the solenoid has a finite length, then we have a different formula for it. We will see that in our JEE class. Here too, if you compare, it is an idle solenoid. Substitute all the values and find out the answer. So this is all about, we have a solenoid and toroid. That is one part of the chapter. We wind up our lecture today. Have a nice day.